The man who taught the world how to live deliberately once burned down 300 acres of his own town. It was 1844. He and a friend were cooking fish near Fairhaven, a shallow bend in the Concord River. The fire spread before they saw it coming. 300 acres of pine and oak went up in smoke. Neighbors called him Woods Burner for the rest of his life. I have burned things too. Not forests. Hours. Days. Years I cannot get back. You have woken up tired too. Before your feet hit the floor, you are already behind. The phone is the first thing you touch and the last thing you see. You scroll before you breathe. You check your messages before you check in with yourself. The day claims you before you have claimed it. You are awake, but you are not living. Most people who lose something run from this shame. They hide. They pretend it did not happen. They spend the rest of their lives apologizing for what they cannot take back. They tell themselves that if they just try harder, work longer, follow the right plan, they will finally feel like they have caught up. Thoreau did something else. He walked into the woods, not to escape, to find out why he could not breathe, to see if a man who burned 300 acres could still learn how to live, to ask himself a question no one else was asking. What happens when you stop running? The question was not whether the town would forgive him. The question was whether he would forgive himself. He built a cabin on the shore of Walden Pond. 1 room, 10 feet wide, 15 feet long, a brick fireplace at one end, no lock on the door. He did not build it because he hated the world. He built it because he wanted to see the world clearly for the first time. And here is what he found. The noise was not outside. The noise was inside. The desperation was not in the village. It was in the decision he had never made. He had been waiting for someone to tell him it was okay to stop. No one ever did. So he stopped anyway. I have tried everything to fix this. Meditation apps, digital detoxes, weekends away, a new system, a better calendar. Nothing sticks, because the problem was never the phone. The problem was never the noise. The problem was the decision I had never made. I had been living someone else's version of a good life. I never stopped to ask if I wanted what I was running toward. Thoreau did not go to the woods to escape the world. He went to escape the assumption that he had to keep living the way he had been living. The assumption that said a man must earn his rest, must prove his worth, must produce something visible every single day or risk being called lazy. Most people spend their whole lives running on a track they did not choose. They wake up. They go to work. They come home. They scroll. They sleep. They do it again. They call it life. Thoreau called it quiet desperation. He wrote those words not as an insult to other people. He wrote them as a confession about himself. He had been living that way too. Before the fire, before the cabin, before he stopped. He had been measuring his days by what he accomplished, not by who he was becoming. The struggle is not that the world is loud. The struggle is that you have been telling yourself you have no choice. You tell yourself you need the money. You tell yourself you will rest when you retire. You tell yourself that everyone feels this way, so it must be normal. You have a choice. You have always had a choice. The choice is to stop waiting for permission. Thoreau did not ask anyone if he could build that cabin. He borrowed an axe and walked into the woods. He cut down white pines. He dug a cellar in the side of a hill. He did not wait until he had enough money. He did not wait until someone believed in him. He did not wait until he was ready. He started. And that is the thing about starting. It does not require readiness. It requires refusal. The refusal to keep living the life you did not choose. The refusal to keep running on a track that leads nowhere you want to go. The morning after he finished the cabin, Thoreau did not check anything. He did not look for news. He did not wonder what people were saying about him. He did not pick up a book. He did not make a list of things to do. He sat in his doorway from sunrise until noon. He called it work. I have never called sitting work. I call sitting wasted time. I call stillness laziness. I have been trained to measure my worth by what I produce, not by who I become while I am still. Thoreau discovered something in that doorway. He discovered that the noise was not coming from the village. The noise was coming from the agreement he had never questioned. The agreement that said a man must earn his worth. That a day without output is a day wasted. That rest is for people who have already succeeded. He rejected the agreement, not by fighting it, not by arguing with it, by simply refusing to sign it. He put down the pen. He walked away from the table. He stopped participating in the game that had been making him miserable. He just stopped. And when he stopped, he heard something he had not heard in years. His own voice. Not the voice that told him to work harder. Not the voice that compared him to his neighbors. Not the voice that said he was falling behind, that he was wasting his potential, that he would die with nothing to show for his life. The voice that said, "This is enough. You are enough. You do not need to earn the right to be still." That voice had been there the whole time. He just could not hear it over the noise he had agreed to. The woods did not change him. The cabin did not change him. The silence did not change him. The decision changed him. The decision to stop waiting for permission to live his own life. You have woken up tired too. You have burned hours you cannot get back. Days. Years. You have scrolled before breathing. You have measured your worth by your output. You have told yourself there is no other way. You have said, maybe tomorrow, so many times that tomorrow stopped meaning anything. There is another way. It does not require a cabin in the woods. It does not require you to walk away from everything you own. It does not require you to sell your house or quit your job. It requires one thing, a decision. Not tomorrow, not when things calm down, not when you finally feel ready. Now. The decision was made before the axe touched the first tree. Thoreau did not go to the woods to find himself. He went to the woods because he had already decided that the life he was living was not his. That is the only decision that matters. Not how, not when, not what other people will think, not the plan, not the timeline. The decision that you are done waiting for permission to live deliberately. You have burned things too, not forests, hours, days, years you cannot get back. You do not need to go to the woods. You need to decide. I choose not default. I choose not default. I choose not default.